Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Former Finance Minister Seth Terkper has urged government to exercise caution with projections from development partners on Ghana's economic recovery process. According to him, the threats to these projections are evident, hence the need to address them head-on. His advice follows several institutions and the country's development partners, all projecting that the economy is going to recover strongly from next year. Seth Terkper spoke to Joy Business.
Just sound a note of caution. Yes, we will definitely see some recovery, because if you have been that low with all the injections that we are seeing, it is to be expected. And with the recovery, the global recovery, which I mentioned, it is expected that there will definitely be some progress. But the very fact that the support both from the IMF and other partners, particularly the World Bank, African Development Bank, and development partners were front-loaded, also means that we are going to get less, to support austerity. And that is our perspective. I say our perspective, obviously, you know what I'm talking about in the context of elections, that the NDC government, future NDC government, is not going to expect, that much resources being pushed into the economy, and therefore, the focus is to go towards a homegrown, policy, as we have had in the past, reforms, deep structural reforms, in order that we can, maintain the momentum.
Development Bank Ghana has rejected claims that it has missed funds allocated for its operations by the country's development partners. The bank, in a statement, has rejected all claims made by Imani Vice President Bright Simons about the bank's dealings over the years. On the issue that over 400 billion cedis has been lost through improper contracting, Development Bank Ghana noted that these allegations are not true, as several audits carried out do not back these claims. Venture Capital Trust Fund has reiterated its commitment to boost investment avenues within the SME sector. General Manager Percival Ampoma says the fund will continue to explore other opportunities to keep the SME sector running. He, however, urged SMEs to engage more equity funds to boost operations. He spoke to Joy Business at a media breakfast meeting agenda, which is part of the 20th anniversary celebration of the fund.
Start talking to them. Even if you are not fundraising at this point, even if you raise funds in the next 3-4 years, know these fund managers and start talking to them. Start showing them what you are doing. Tell them, I'm in this business, I'm doing this, I'm doing... Paper Magic started that way. That's why it took him 2 years to get the ink on the paper. Because look, I'm in this business, I'm in this water business, I'm here. Do you want to come and see my factory? This is what I'm doing. He make 1 or 2 suggestions. Look, there's a revenue leakage here. The factory goes here. You finish the products. There's nobody here, so they can't check how many products you have done. Yeah. It means that when you produce here and you have spent money, your raw materials go in, the output is limited. So it means you're going to get lower revenue, and you will not understand why. You will be producing and you will lose. So the farmer, okay, I think if you put a security guard here, you put a CCTV here, you put something here, you can check the revenue leakage here. That alone is a good input. That can help you to then restructure. And then as you go along, maybe people ask you, how many meetings have you done in terms of compliance with the Companies Act? Well, it's my wife and myself. We sit down, we wake up and sit down by the bed. Hey, tomorrow's business, we are going here and here, and that's that. That's a board meeting right there. Do you have any independent view of the board? Can you bring 1/3 person to come and tell you, look, I think you spent 10,000 Ghana cedis last week at the funeral you went to. You took it from the company's coffers. You can't do that. You don't have anybody telling you these things. The fund manager can say, look, my friend, get that thing sorted out. And so these things are practical realities of business. And SMEs need to avail themselves to that. Start talking to them.
The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEC) has disclosed shortages of fuel at some pumps within the capital and other parts of the country over the past few days. According to COPEC, the development is as a result of supply suppression due to some depot upgrades at the Boss APD, Boss Kumasi, and Boss Mami Water depots. They go on to say the issue is also due to other private oil traders who over the period complained of monies owed them, and hence their refusal to put enough products onto the market, which of course is also to blame, through though some private bulk import distribution companies continue to land products, thereby creating a mixed situation of availability at some pumps, while others do not have it at all. We shall be monitoring the situation in that space and, of course, keep you posted in our subsequent bulletins. We want to stay a while longer within the petroleum industry because the Petroleum Commission has hinted at considerations to reduce Ghana's 15% participating interest in oil explorations. There is more in this report.
The forum aims to drive investment, facilitate agreements, and accelerate capital flows across the African energy sector. By hosting the event in Ghana, the West African country is poised to spearhead Africa's energy sector interest. In his address, Chief Executive of the Petroleum Commission, Egbert Faibille, emphasized the need to make Ghana a competitive choice for oil explorations in Africa, calling for an amendment to the Petroleum and Exploration Act 2016.
In our case, if you look at Section 10, I think subsection 4(5) thereof of the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act of 2016, Act 919, it says that in Ghana, the state's carried participating interest is 15%. So if you bring $1, the investor will know that 15% of that $1 would never be gotten back. So when you look around, Cote d'Ivoire, Namibia, Angola, Nigeria, Guyana, and all the rest, if you do the analysis, they are hovering around carried participating interest of 10%. So if you go to the market with these competitors, if you're an investor, where will you want to go? So the Petroleum Commission, GNPC, and the Ministry of Energy have been very hard at work trying to come up with various permutations to engender and promote reform in our legislative or regulatory or fiscal regime framework.
Meanwhile, Minister for Energy Herbert Krapah reaffirmed the government's commitment to securing necessary investment in the sector.
We need also to leverage government's platform to bring in the private sector more strongly. We need to bring the private sector on board very closely. Mr. Ampofo, the charge is yours. The private sector would be very, very instrumental if the conference is going to be a success.
On his part, Paul Sinclair, Chief Executive of Sankofa Events and Africa Oil Week, explained the rationale behind the conference.
Africa Oil Week is designed to show off the very best of all of the oil and gas, upstream and energy assets to the international community. A bridge that really takes...
And that's it for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Prime Source is next.